Hey, Unitic here. Quick part 2 to my David Hawkins video. I kind of cut it off more quickly than I planned to because there was a group of hikers here in the state park getting ready to go out on an interpretive hike, and they wanted to chat with me about my cross-country adventure. Really nice folks. I wanted to mention that part of David Hawkins' research is very encouraging. The title of his book refers to the power in the spirit. So the scale of consciousness that we were just talking about, that's power. And he uses the analogy that when power meets force, it's kind of like when Gandhi and that idea of freedom met the British Empire. The British Empire representing physical force. That in the grand scheme of things, in the long haul, force doesn't stand a chance against real power. We have real power. Human spirit is where real power resides. And through his research, he's identified by testing again all over the world. And the neat thing about kinesiology is he can test historical episodes and people. It's kind of like using what some 100 years ago referred to as the ether, the Akashic records, the non-physical record of all that is and all that's ever been. You can talk about that in scientific terms, you can talk about it in spiritual, but he uses kinesiology to try and access that information. And according to his research, there has never been in human history, recorded human history, at a minimum, so many people vibrating at such a high level. So many people vibrating above the level of 800 around the world, and particularly in the United States. So while in many ways the United States seems to be collectively a very unconscious country, so focused on materialism and sensationalism and ridiculous media, silliness, so focused on distractions, so sick, deluded, stressed, and none of that's by accident. There's obviously a group of people that have a very vested interest in keeping the majority of us in that state of mind. But as a friend of mine used the analogy, it's kind of like holding a beach ball underwater. You can do it for a while, but it gets harder and harder, and eventually you're going to get exhausted. The deeper you shove that beach ball, the higher it's going to come out when it bursts the surface. And that's what's happening with human consciousness. That's what Hawkins' work revealed, is that collective consciousness of the population of the United States, and this is 15-20 years ago when he first published Power versus Force, is above the level of 400. And this is the level of reason. You know, this is the level of the philosopher. It's not saying all people are at that level, but again, because a small number of folks holding a higher level of consciousness can literally transmute, can affect the energy of thousands upon thousands upon thousands of other people. You can make a difference. You do make a difference. My buddy Drew sent a beautiful email to our friend Alan Weisbecker last night about this topic, related to this topic, and basically just pointing out that while we don't know how we affect others in every case, and we don't necessarily see the larger impact over time, we do have an impact. And he used his 15-year-old son Oliver as an example. So I just wanted to add that part too as a point of encouragement for myself and for anybody that watches this video, that the more and more of us that are doing whatever we can, and many times that's just through simple acts of service, it doesn't have to be something dramatic, that holds that higher space, that keeps your heart leading the way and being the master of your head. They're both important, but this one shouldn't be running this one. It has to be a partnership, but the heart, the spirit, the compassion, the empathy, this is the seat of the soul. And the soul is what can transform this world and is transforming this world. It's happening in every instant, and I want to thank all of you guys that take the time to watch these videos and join this adventure, and encourage you to keep doing what you're doing in your life. So there's part 2. And hopefully later on I'll show you some cool things in Hocking Hills State Park. It's supposed to be a geological wonderland, caves, cliffs, waterfalls. Looking forward to seeing that. So for today, Unitic out.